like you guys to take a moment and think about the thoughts that you have every day. Our thoughts can either be perceived as positive or negative, or good or bad. But I would like you to take into consideration that thoughts could also be purely suggestion or an idea. And we have the power to either go along with the suggestion, go along with the idea, which will then either make us feel good or bad. So a lot of people like to only limit their thoughts to only positive thinking. Negative thoughts, or thoughts that we don't want to think, which usually comes in intrusive thoughts or repeating thoughts, sometimes also comes up as flashbacks, have a purpose within our life, and they're trying to tell us something. So when we view thoughts as simply just a suggestion, we have the ability to have more of a acceptance of our thoughts. Our thoughts usually create, we have a thought and then it creates an emotion. So the emotions that we have are all dependent on the thoughts that we think. So if you want to feel better within any given situation, you have to change your thoughts. This is not necessarily positive thinking. It's more of being in a state of acceptance, so you're not in such a resistance to everything. People that have a sense of apathy for an extended period of time usually struggle with a sense of numbness for a long time. So numbness or no emotion at all usually comes with such a suppression of an experience or feeling that it totally turns off their internal navigation. So our internal navigation is our internal world, and basically it's our thoughts, feelings, desires, past experiences, or present experiences, and this is kind of makes up our personal mosaic. Everyone is a particular mosaic or an art piece, and each part of this particular art piece, all of your experiences, thoughts, make up this particular art piece or mosaic. So if you were to view thoughts or your internal world as something as purely a suggestion and something that isn't necessarily good or bad, it is just a unique or an idea that was created, then you will have a less likely need to resist negative thoughts. People that don't want to think about negative thoughts or don't want to think about bad thoughts or negative things have actually a really hard time with empathy or compassion. Compassion, if you want to have compassion and empathy and kindness, you have to be willing to experience negative thoughts or negative emotions. And people are very afraid of that because they think that they're a bad person, or they won't be praiseworthy if they think, negative thoughts. But your thoughts are purely ideas and suggestion and part of your mosaic, and it doesn't make you necessarily a good or bad person. What you do with the thoughts will greatly depend on your character. So if we think of our thoughts as more of suggestion instead of a truth or a set in stone, we have more of the free will and the ability and the choice to be able to talk with their thoughts or take into consideration if we want to go along with the thought or if we want to entertain the idea. If you would like to feel better within any sense, such as physically, mentally, or emotionally, you have to look at the thoughts that you're thinking every day. Happiness is completely dependent on the thoughts that you think every day, and is completely dependent on what kind of thoughts you think about yourself. So sometimes we are not aware of the thoughts that we think about ourselves because we just get really busy with life, but it's very helpful to have an attention to the thoughts that we think every day and to be less resistant to the ones that we don't want to think about and just view them as purely a suggestion. So negative thoughts are negative suggestions could possibly be due to an unhealed wound, projection. It usually has to do with things that we don't want to think about. So what happens is negative thoughts keep coming up, and therefore we don't have the ability to necessarily suppress them anymore, due to the fact that it's trying to get our attention and it wants to be a part of our mosaic. So if we just view negative thoughts as just purely suggestion, you will have a much easier time, and you will begin to feel a lot better, and more doors and more opportunities will open for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.